All right, we are live today. We are having minor technical difficulties. It's not a big deal. So I wanted to welcome you to the PMP Success Secrets with Scott podcast. Here we go. Today we are live and we are going to answer your questions. So put them in the comment section right there and we'll do it. Now, before we do it, I got good news. I just got the results back. We are officially technically over a real 99% pass rate on the new PMP exam. It's a crazy, I know. We are 202 for 204. So I don't think anybody's got results like that. Real results. We'd love you to be involved with the accelerator. And so go check it out if you're there. Now, the other thing is we just had these flashcards launch. This is not a marketing video or whatever. I'm just super excited because they're number one in the PMP like new release thing. So if you want to, go in Amazon. We'll put a link down below. Go get them. And you get a bunch of free stuff like a free coaching call with me, like small group, just live like this. And I'll answer all your questions and teach you how to solve hard questions and stuff like that. So go get them. It's kind of cool. All right, cool. So that's it for the day. And we have one more thing as we go. We're having a sweepstakes to go down below. I'll put the link down below to go and enter in your email, and you could win free access to the accelerator, the $200,000 or $200,000, $2,000 PMP accelerator. Free access. There you go. Simple dimple. Easy peasy. You got it going on. All right. So go down there and do it. There's no reason not to do it. And we'll go from there. So, all right. Let's see what we got in the private chats. We got real chats. We had one question come in, and it was like from Debbie, who's on the other line. Let's bring Debbie and see if she can talk. Debbie, does it work?
Can you hear me?
Not yet. I'm sorry, Debbie. Keep trying. It's okay. I got your question. How do I memorize the 24 planning processes in the planning process group? That's it. I'm going to walk it through. I'll explain how we do it, and then we'll go from there. All right? So, cool. Give me a second. All right. So, here's the thing. You know, if you know me, that we're not going to memorize anything, right? All right? And so, I can do this basically a cappella with 7 letters. 7 letters. Okay? So, what I need you to do is go on a walk with me, okay? We're going to go on a walk into PMP land. All right. And so what we're doing is we're trying to figure out what is the most important words that will define the planning process group. Okay. So there are 2 words, and in totality, they are 7 letters. There's a 4-letter word and a 3-letter word. All right. And so when we think through planning, let's ask, what are we trying to accomplish? Like, anybody out there want to tell us? I know, Debbie, this would be better if you were on, but it's totally okay. We'll figure it out next time. What are we trying to accomplish in planning? Well, in planning, think about it. We've got a charter. We've got a good understanding of who's playing in the game. And what we need to do then is we need to nail down like what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. Those are the 2 things, like what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. All right. So 4 letters, what? How is the 3 letters. Now, how becomes before the what, and I'm going to explain how to do it. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. Share screen. All right, here we go. Let me go over here. I'm going to use a tool that we call the PM1 view. All right. So my partner created this. It's super duper awesome. And what it does is it allows us to like pop up like boom, breakdowns, all the stuff. Okay. So let's see if we got Debbie now. Let's try.
Can you hear me now?
Not yet. It's all right. All right. So here we go. Let's go. All right. So what did I say? I said there's 2 things that we need to do. We need to nail down the what and the how. All right. And so as we go through here and we work through this, we're just bouncing around, get the study resources, PM1 view. If you were to look at all the processes in the process groups, all right, there are 2 things that we need to focus on. We need to focus on, we're just going to go big screen, big screen. So, all right. Here, I'll share it back. All right, cool. Now, as we look in here, I'm going to take a picture of it. There are a lot of things they're the same in there, okay? As I'm trying to figure out. There are develop project management plan, develop scope management plan, develop schedule management plan, all these management plans that they're at the top. All right, that is how we're going to do things, all right? So if you think about it, and in planning, we're not only planning for like right now, we're planning for the future. So all these things we need to think about is we need to nail down those individual processes, and we say like, okay, as far as integration, as far as scope goes, as far as schedule goes, as far as cost goes, et cetera, risk, whatever, we need to think about how we're going to do it. Now, I know the natural thing is everybody wants to run into like what we're going to do. Like, oh, what kind of scope are we going to deliver? What's the total cost going to be? Who's going to be involved in the project? What are the risks? All those things. Dude, there's time for it. But what we need to do right now is nail down the how. So if you picture all of these process groups right here, and there's more down here, right? We go down to the next section, more as we pull this up. All these different areas define, we have to go and define how we do it. So how we're doing scope, how we're doing schedule, how we're doing all these things. If you look at it, they all have a plan. It's like 10 of the 24 processes. So that right off the bat, if we don't have to memorize all 24, first of all, don't memorize anything, but just think about how we would go about it. And that's the approach. So you'd sit your team down and go like, all right, cool. How are we going to approach developing the schedule or developing the schedule? Even before that, you say the scope. How are we going to get the scope done? Well, we're going to bring a lot of smart people in. We're going to get all the requirements. We're going to organize them. We're going to define what's really important. We're going to nail it down. We're going to put it on this WBS, these requirement documentation. We're going to do that. Someone automatically wants to go into, oh yeah, remember this, remember that scope point. No. We're just talking about how we're going to do it. And then we work ourselves and say, okay, so how are we going to make sure that it's nailed down the baseline? How are we going to check it? How are we going to monitor it? How? And they go, okay, cool. We're going to use this document. We're going to use this meeting type. This is who's going to lead the charge. Cool. It's like an approach. It's like a battle plan. That's what the plans are for each one of them. All right, how are we going to handle schedule? How are we going to handle cost? Okay, cool. You don't have to go in super double deep detail, but you're developing a strategy, an approach, a how for each one of the knowledge areas. That's the extent that you need to know. Just we're getting our ducks in a row for how we're going to lead it from the beginning to the end. Okay? Too many people get scared and they just like look down. Oh, I got to do all this work. Yeah, I get it. Just work yourself down. Okay? The approach. And if you think about it, there's 10 layers of this cake in waterfall. We just need to nail down the plan for each one of them. Cool. Then once we do that, then that frees up the rest of the stuff, which is the what. And if we look here, all we got to do is, I can't really circle, but like this area right here, like right where the identify risks are, like there's a section right here. That's a what. So let's go through and identify what are the risks. Let's identify them, big part of the funnel. What kind of qualitative, like let's rank them. Quantitatively, let's figure out the numbers and let's develop a plans for each one of them, risk response plans. So that's a what thing that we need to do. So if we have an approach for how we're going to do stuff, what are the big areas that we have to figure out? Like what's the meat in the project? One of the things is where all the landmines are, where risk. Cool. We got to figure out who the resources are. But in reality, what we have to do as I bounce back up here to the big section is we have to figure out what the scope, schedule, and cost is. Okay, so there's only 4 big, I'm just going to go back to my big face, or right here, is we just need to think of 3 big areas. What's up with the scope? So that's right. Hey, we're going to bring a big bucket in of people, and we're going to say, what are all the requirements? Lay them out, put them on the wall, organize them. Define down what we're not going to do and what we are going to do. Organize it visually in a work breakdown structure. Nail that down. Pitch it around. Make sure that people understand what we're doing and they're okay with it. Nail it down with a scope baseline. That's officially what we're doing. So that's one of the big what's we're doing. Like, what are we doing? Got to nail that down. We're building a Pinto. We're building a Lamborghini. Something in between. Really matters. Now, the other thing that's in the what neighborhood is you can't just nail down, hey, we're going to build a mid-size SUV. That's it. Without figuring out, oh, shoot, what are the activities actually do it? Nail that down. What materials do we need? What's the schedule? What's the cost? All those things. So, nailing down mid-size SUV, right? Boom, boom, boom. All the features and functionalities, awesome. But while we're doing that, we're balancing these schedules. Like, well, shoot, what kind of materials do we need? Are we going to do a lot of this stuff in or outside house? How are we going to do it? How are we going to schedule all this stuff? Is it going to be able to be delivered on time? That's the old machinations of what's happening here in the what. And so we're going to take all these requirements right there. We're going to come down here before we nail it down, and we're going to figure out, okay, shoot, we got that thing at the bottom of the WBS. What are all the activities that will give us that? Like if we have to do this part of the project, do this part of the product, what are the activities, ding, 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 that we need to? We're going to do that for all the work breakdown structure. It's going to break out this ginormous bunch of activities. What do you know? It says define activities. Huh. Then we make sense of them. We sequence them all together. I don't even need to draw all this stuff because I'd just be squiggling everywhere. But we just take all the ideas and we hook the wires together. Okay, here's how they all fit. Got to do this before this. Really? No, we can do these in order. No, we can do them like this. We put them all together. Then we say, all right, sweet. This is how we do them. How long is each one of those going to take? And who's got to do the work? Us or somebody else? Does our team? What kind of resources? All that jazz. And so they go in and estimate for each one of them. And if you think about those activities, they start out like little stickies, like on my desk. And then some of them stretch longer because they take longer. Some of them bloop, go shorter. And that affects your schedule. But at the end, you've got to mess around with your schedule, crash it and reorganize and throw labor at it and all these different things so that it finishes, when you want it to. Because everybody's got to answer to somebody. And while we're doing that, we're also estimating the cost of each activity, determining the overall budget, nailing it down, and then boom, additionally, while we're thinking hard, and waterfall is a think hard process up front, a lot of details, is what we're trying to do initially is we're trying to nail down, because this is an environment that doesn't have a lot of ambiguity. This isn't build an app. This is build a ship. Like we know it's got to be this long. It's got to be, the keel's got to be here. It's got to have this much blah, blah, blah inside of it. There's not a lot of ambiguity there. We just got to nail it down and manage to it. It's not agile. This is waterfall. And so as we're doing that, we're figuring out what everything costs, what the materials are, how much buffer and things we have inside of things, like as far as schedule goes. And then we're thinking on the bottom side. So we did scope, schedule, cost. Those are the big whats. And it's really not that hard because I just walked through it. It's basic. And then the other what out there is like, what could kill us? What could go bad? What could go good? Good things happen occasionally. And so that's the risk part of it. And that helps us understand like how much additional money do we need? Separate money aside. Like contingency reserve is a money on the outside for known risks. Oh, we could have a problem here. Oh, we could have a problem here. We're going to calculate a percentage of that, throw it into the baseline. That's what we expect to spend. This for the activities, this more for the little bit of known risks. Then we go, you know what? We're not geniuses. We're pretty smart, but we're not geniuses, and we can't predict anything like with any kind of certainty. There are going to be Murphy's Law risks that are going to be out there that are just going to hit us, and we know it, and we just don't want to steal from the money that we have for the risk that we think might happen. So we got to throw management reserve on top. So as we think through this, and we were to break this down, yeah, there's 24 processes in planning. I get it, but they're real simple. There's the first thing that you want to keep your team is like a bunch of wild banshees or people like crazy people. They want to work hard, but they got to work smart as they work hard. So the first thing is we say, oh, whoa, dudes, how are we going to do this? Scope, schedule, cost, risk, resources, communication, stakeholder, etc., quality, whatever. What is the approach we're going to do? And then that list of 24 goes, bloop, 10 of them just go away. Because once we sit down in a meeting and we say, okay, this is the approach we're going to use. Here's who's going to manage it. Here's how we're going to check on it. Here's the frequency. What it really does is go like, shoot, we never even thought about quality. Should have thought about that. Oh, yeah. Who's going to be like the czar of risk? Oh, okay. All right. Here's our approach. Do we have documents for that? Where are we going to store them? What's the frequency? As I make myself sick. Like we got to think through all that stuff. And so that's what the plans are trying to get you to do. Now, all the perfect documents, whatever, dude. You pick the documents that work best for you. Now, there are some standard ones, but just the approaches and the plans get us to nail down how we're going to do it. Now, that 24 list, when we say all those plans, plan. I could go for days. Gone. Do this. Take this sheet, print it out. Look at the PMBOK, print it out, whatever. Cross off those plans and see what's left. And then draw a smiley face and say, thank you, Scott. And what's left is scope. What are we doing? What are we delivering? Pinto, Lamborghini, midsize sedan. What are we delivering? How are we going to get it done? How are we going to get it done? Like, what do we have to do to get this thing done? All right. And then what's it going to cost? And the other one is, what is the big risk out there? What's the big problem that we haven't seen yet? It's just that simple. It's literally that simple. Now, in my courses and videos and all that stuff, I go super double, triple deep really simply to break down like our each process. So if you want to do that, email me, Scott at PM Master Prep, or go to my site, hit the little button, get on a call with me, and I'll teach it to you. I'll show you accelerator, all that junk. And dude, we make it super duper simple, easy. I can break the entire PMBOK down in 3 hours. Ain't no big deal. It's all logical like this. And once you see it from this perspective, you can't unsee it. All right. And so that's what we're talking about. And you're gonna realize that it's all set up so that you can be successful. So simple as that. We're gonna try one more time, see if Debbie can jump on. If Debbie can jump on and talk, it'd be sweet. If not, it just builds the allure. Maybe next time. What do you got, Debbie? Maybe? Nothing. Was that helpful? Could you even hear me? Okay. We'll talk after. Thank you very much for the question, Debbie. That is awesome. All right. And so that's the biggest question there. That's the biggest question now. All right. Did anybody ask me any other questions? Nobody asked me any other. For me. Whatever. All right. So we're going to be a short one today. I hope you like that little planning stuff. There are technical issues in life and it ain't no big deal. All right. And so really planning is easy peasy, lemon squeezy if you look at it the right way. Now I just broke it down a little bit, but tell me what you think. Tell me if it helped you, and then tell me what your problems are, and I will fix them the best I can, PMP wise. Relationships, I don't really know how to help you there. I'll do my best though. All right, and so then go on Amazon, get these flashcards. They're super duper sweet. You want to take a look at them? Hello from New York City. Sweet. New York City. Sultana, why don't you ask me a question? Sultana, what's up? What's up? Hey, Scott. What's up, Kelly? Nice to see you. Sultana, what is your question? What's the biggest thing that's worrying you about the PMP exam? What is it? So the big question Robert says is what do people do after they pass your course without having to go to coaching calls every week? I don't know, dude. You can take up knitting. You can learn to make Jell-O mold, like cakes. You can start raising cats. You can get a better job. You can be happy that you succeeded really well. You can come on as a coach. You can do great at your job. I don't know. You can do anything, dude. So that's it. I appreciate it. I miss the team. I miss you too, Robert. And so let's see. Sultana, you didn't ask me a question. Sultana, when is your exam? Oh, yeah. Robert said, look into PDUs. Oh, Robert, one thing you could do is you could take our ACP class. That launches like today. I want an exam pass guarantee. What do you mean? Tell me what. Doesn't the world give exam pass guarantees? Doesn't everybody give one? What do you mean by exam pass guarantee? Because I can give you one. I can tell you how to pass. You can pass with guaranteed. I mean, I have a 99% pass rate, 99.01, I think it is. Whatever 202 divided by 204 is on the thing. But the way you ask the question, like you should really think about the way you ask the question. You want an exam pass guarantee? I can tell you how to do it. First of all, anybody that'll sell you an exam pass guarantee is a huckster. All right. And so all these people out there are saying they'll guarantee it. Ask them why. Ask them what. And so really the approach is three big things. We have to nail down the core foundational understanding. It's like if you're Indiana Jones walking from like one side of a crazy cliff to another side, everybody has a bridge that can get him there. It's just, are the steps all there in your mind? What the problem is, the people that are searching for exam pass guarantees, and I'm not going after you. I would love to help you. Email me here, Sultana, and we'll talk about it. Scott at PMMaster, what is my name? Prep.com. Just email me, dude. I'll let you in, or dudette, whatever. I'll let you in a coaching call tonight. We'll talk it out. I'll get you there. But you got to be careful with exam pass guarantees because all they're doing is saying, hey, we're going to give you a crappy course and you can take it as many times as you want to. That's what they mean. And that's not good. What you need is a process that respects your mind, that walks you through in a way that will teach you how to learn. Because you got to ask yourself, the questions that I would ask you, Sultana, is like, hey, when do you need to be done? What do you do for a living? Why are you doing this? Those things frame up my understanding of how you're doing it. Now I can get you through. I guarantee you I can get you through. But it's the process that matters. So I can understand where it is. And then we need to understand how you learn. Are you a book person? You're like, dude, I love reading books. That's cool. I love memorizing. I love doing that. Okay, well, let's organize our content in the way that you take information in. Or are you a visual learner? Do you learn by talking through things? Do you need to see examples? Do you need to have it related to you in a way that makes sense that you can relate to your job? Are you a kinesthetic learner? They talk about it. Then we need to organize the material that way. But then when we get there, what we don't need to do is throw the material at you. Anybody out there. We need to have a conversation with the material. First of all, breaking it down in a simple way that you can understand and relate to so that it's approachable. That's the number one mistake that these other people don't do. I'm telling them what works. Do it, people. Okay? The second thing is when we do that, we need to focus on the problems that exist in real project management. Because if you talk about those problems, those are sticky. Those get in your gut. Those make you feel like, oh shit, what's happening? I don't want to ever have that problem again. Because we never remember normal days. Like I have no idea if I was even alive last Tuesday. Okay? But I know when I got in a car wreck a month and a half ago. I can see every single second of it in slow motion. And I can remember when my kids were born. Those are good things. And so if we can focus on, I can remember more than just those two things. But what I'm trying to say is that we remember peaks and valleys. We don't remember the middle blah. So think about a normal class. It's blah times 1,000. That's why it's so hard for normal people to learn. What you need is peaks and valleys. You need to, what we do first is simplify things so it's approachable. So you're the heroine or hero of the story. Second thing we need to do is we focus on the problems so that you can feel it in your chest, in your heart. You can tighten up and you can say, I don't want to do that. And then we say, hey, how would we solve it? How would we solve it? Live in the pain of not knowing. And then once we find what the solution we think it is, we slap them together and you never forget. That's the secret sauce. Easy to say, hard to do, but I happen to be good at it. And so that's what we do. And the last thing is the feedback loops, the conversations, because no one is a genius overnight. You have to talk it through with Kelly, with me, with other people to be able to talk it through in a way to like, hey, Sultan, explain it to me. How do you understand it? I'm going to be quiet for a while and listen. You explain it to a way to understand it. And let me hear your perspective. And once we do that, we can work through it. We can say, wow, what leads you to believe that? Or would that always work? It's called Socratic questioning. Some dude named Socrates. I guess he invented it because it's named after him. And so it's just asking questions to bring out realizations. So that's what we do from day one. You don't need to be preached to like in a boot camp and left high and dry and told to memorize. That's lazy. I'm not lazy. You're not lazy. If we go through and simplify, if we relate it to problems so that we understand the content is ours, it's innately inside of us. You just don't know it yet. And lastly, if we can get a feedback loop to make it even just massaged into our brain so that we feel confident we go through, the game's over. So if we do that, yes, ma'am, or sir, whatever, you'll pass. So that's the exam pass guarantee, is that I ain't never going to stop helping you. And neither will my team, and neither will the other people in the classes. So if you want an exam pass guarantee, I'll get you through. All you got to do is email. So email me. Let's try me. I'll take the gamble. Sweet. All right. Well, I ranted and raved. I appreciate it. Sultana, email me. You might have emailed me already. Anybody can email me. Anybody can call me. It's been fun. Okay. I'm scared and not confident to pass the exam. Dude, I love it. I'm scared too for you. I can help you. The thing is, we won't do it on the here, but let's talk through what's driving your fears. Honestly, let's talk through what's driving your fears, because that is the biggest gift that you can have, to embrace what scares you, find out what the root cause is, and let's navigate through it. Because as nobody in this world that likes a story that's like, I showed up and passed, Boo. I want struggle. I want strife. I want a comeback story. So wherever you are right now, great. You're struggling, you're worried, all that stuff, cool. Let's go through the process. It won't take very long, and let's learn. So Robert says, seriously, call Scott. Kelly says, I was too until I found here. So yes, ma'am. I'm serious, Lieutenant. If you want to get on a coaching call tonight or just talk to me, it's cool. Either one. All right, I appreciate it. I'm going to go drink some water, and then we got 3 hours of coaching calls. If you guys want to get on the coaching call, Scott at pmmasterprep.com or 757-759-5282. Literally my phone number. See you later, alligators. Bye-bye. Debbie, next time. We'll talk next time. The silent Debbie. Bye-bye. See ya.
Bye.